Welcome to Metal Wani. This is Owais here with one and only Sebastian Seeb Levermann of ORDEN OGAN. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing quite well. I hope you're doing quite well as well.
I am doing really good, and I'm actually very excited that I had this honor of listening to Ravenhead, and I'm just blown away with that majestic album that you guys have come up with. So I gotta know, how excited and nervous are you feeling for this album?
Oh, first of all, thank you. Yeah, excited is maybe not the right word because I was working for like I don't know 6 months in total on that, and even especially the last phase was very stressful. So
Mhm.
at the moment, I'm just happy that it's done.
So waiting for fans to listen to, but you also gave them, a Fever, which came out. I don't know whether to pronounce it as Fever or F dot E dot. And how do you pronounce this?
I say fever, yeah, like fever.
Yeah, Fever, because there are dots in it. I'm just wondering if there's some other meaning behind it.
No, there are just dots in it because a guitar player said that Fever is a boring title for a song, and I just put the songs between
Oh, cool, cool.
the
Now
dots
that
between that. So
right. So
yeah,
that song is out. So how has the fans responded to that?
to the video, I totally awesome. I mean, it started. I mean, the video clip from the last record, "The Things We Believe In," is
Believe in.
I think at 1.2 million clicks or something,
Right.
and it started a lot slower than a lot more slowly than Fever did now. I mean, it's out for a little more like I don't know, like 4 weeks or something like,
Yeah, 4 weeks,
and it's
correct.
has almost 100,000 clicks now. So and also all the responses are just almost just positive. So yeah, we're very happy with that to see that people really like it. And I have to say it was a very tough choice to pick that song out of the record, and
Mhm.
we discussed that quite a lot with the record company, the band, and the management and stuff. Um, because yeah, when we did the last one, and it was obvious that it was gonna be the things we believe in.
Mhm.
And this time, we all had the impression that the songs are all pretty much on the same level, like
Right.
quality wise, and
Right.
it was very tough to pick that one.
So it must have been very difficult. I mean, when you look at the song and you figure out how the music video is going to be, so there has to be some sort of a concept. So I kind of feel that it's the same director who actually, did your last video, The Things We Believe In.
Correct.
And no doubt it's absolutely stunning. So I want to know what's happening exactly in the video. Who is the female in that?
Oh, I have to tell you a little more about that. That could take some time, but okay, let me start at another point to
Uh-huh.
get there. Um, I have to start with the band name. Doesn't work another way.
Right.
Um, Orden Ogan. Orden is German for order.
Hmm.
Ogan is Old Celtic for fear. So it's
Okay.
the Order of Fear.
Hmm.
And Ravenhead is basically the name of the abbey where the Order of Fear lives in.
All
So
right.
if you've seen the full artwork, you can see on the back cover there's our mascot, this Alistair Vale guy, the guy with
Right.
the hat. He's on a little boat,
Right.
and there's some castle-looking structure in the background. That is basically the abbey, and it's called Ravenhead because it's lying a little higher on a hill or on a ledge or something like that, and the ravens are flying in the sky above the thing. So
Awesome.
um, this is also the reason why the intro, Orden Ogan and Ravenhead, are connected. The intro features this deep male voices humming that melody that reminds a little bit of a Gregorian choral. So
Right.
there's the connection with the order. And this melody is also featured again in the Ravenhead song, which is basically more about the place itself, not about the monks or the order of Ogan.
Hmm.
And the whole record has some sort of a loose concept story to it. I don't like real concept story because it's totally limiting you.
Hmm.
But to have it like play in the same setting or something like that is always great.
Right.
And so basically, this Ravenhead Abbey lies in front of a lake, and there are three songs that are connected with that with that legend of
Mm-hmm.
that lake. It's evil lies in every man, fever, and the lake, obviously.
Okay.
And it's about it's there's a legend of a woman that lies on the ground of a not specified lake somewhere in that world,
Okay.
and it can only be seen when the moonlight is shining on that lake.
Uh-huh.
And she used to be a nice girl, but she was betrayed by her family and her husband or whatever, blah blah. And then she cried so many tears that she grew this lake on her own, just with her tears, and drowned
Whoa.
everything that was around there. And now, like centuries later, she's still there, like some entity, some being, or whatever. And her presence makes people go crazy. You know, they're like obsessed with the idea of finding her, and it is about that is the story of the song "The Lake." It is about a guy who is obsessed with the idea to find her, and just walks to the lake, and then walks into the lake and drowns because he wants to get to her. You know.
Right.
So that is basically like the whole concept around the Ravenhead and the lake, and the stuff like that. But I have to add at this point that I really like songs that have or lyrics that have a second level of meaning, and most of them also have. So, I mean, the obvious thing for Fever is that it is about she's the fever stealing the life from you. Is about the girl on the ground of the lake. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But it was intended with a totally different intention. It is actually about the one bad girl, the one bad relationship that we all had in our lives, you know.
Okay.
And so if you watch closely, there are a lot of lines like, she's the fever stealing the life from you. That is obvious, but on the other hand, like king of the word yet unheard is, I mean, you can talk as much as you want. If she doesn't listen, you can't change it, you know. So
So
I like this ambiguity things.
so it's on a grand scale. So can I say that the story of Ravenhead kind of ties with the story of Vale?
Uh, it is connected in some loosely, everything very loosely connected.
Okay.
Hmm?
Right. So if I step back a little, I'm sorry. So I'm familiar with the concept of Alistair Vale and the story behind Eastern Hope. So how
Hmm.
about you tell me about how To the End tied together with your previous albums?
I mean, Alistair Vale is as you might remember, is an immortal guy, and he has to
Right.
walk on and on and on, and everything that he leaves some sort of decays behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to the End is a record that features also like the same scenario setting. It's this after the end of the world, post-apocalyptic scenario in this ice world, and so it is not totally connected to. It's not a continuation of the Eastern Hope story,
Mm-hmm.
but in this case, it would just be like maybe hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years later after
Centuries.
that. Yeah, maybe centuries, right? Yeah, because what I said before is an immortal guy. So
Right.
what I said before, it's all like loosely connected, but it's not like a story that ends on the one record and it goes from there on the next one.
Absolutely. Now, this album is full of guest singers. We have Hammerfalls, Joachim coming in, contributing vocals for Sorrow in Your Tale. Sorry, Is Your Tale, and even at Gravediggers, Chris coming in for Head at the End of the World. So, how was it collaborating with these guys? Must have been a great feeling having them and pitching out how where you're going to sing, where they are going to sing.
Yeah, obviously it was great for us. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it. I have to say beforehand, I'm totally not a big fan of this name dropping bullshit. You know, honestly, I mean. I would never ever get somebody on my record just because I think I could maybe sell
Sell,
a
right.
couple more records. I mean,
Hmm.
if people want to buy an Orden Ogan record, they should do that because they like the music
Right.
and not because they want to hear somebody else sing that. So it has to fit on several levels. It has to fit on a personal level, and especially, and even more important, the song has to have the need for that.
Right.
And coming to Chris, I mean, we were on tour with Gravedigger in 2011, and he's a great guy. It's just some very, very funny humor, really strange humor, and but I really like it. And I was asked to do the choirs on the Gravedigger record, on the latest Gravedigger record as well. And so some sort of let's say some sort of friendship really developed. And when we were finished with the Gravedigger choirs, Chris said, you know, you're on our record now. If you like me, if you want me to do, I can sing in yours as well. And that very moment he said that, I instantly knew which song that would be, and even which part, you know.
Nice.
So that was crystal clear. It was a little bit different with Joachim. There it was the song "Sorry Is the Tale" was already finished. Also, the bridge was already done and sung, but I had the idea it really doesn't really work the way it is. I don't know if it just was my voice or something in the arrangement.
Right.
But I had the idea maybe it would be better if just somebody else sang that. And that was the time when we were just confirmed for the Hammerfall tour, so that was an obvious choice, and he was a perfect fit for that as well.
Fantastic. So possible to see him live along with you guys? Let's say a collaboration on this song on stage?
I'm pretty sure that this is going to happen. I don't know, though, if it will happen on that tour we do together now, on that European thing. Because, I mean, if I were him, I wouldn't do it, because it would somehow like spoil the effect of Hammerfall going on stage later, and it's totally fine for us.
That's awesome. Now, talking about the album, it's the most catchiest, I have to say, from ORDEN OGAN. More darker, and like you said, more metal, more choruses, more ORDEN OGAN. So that kind of summarizes how you, being a main songwriter, and you took care of the mixing and the production as well. So the entire responsibility lied on you. So how was the approach you took this time to make sure you improve and learn from the mistake you've committed in the past?
I wouldn't necessarily say we did too many mistakes in the past, because I've always been like a perfectionist asshole, and people hate me for that.
For a good reason, isn't it?
Yeah. Though I have to say, really, the approach this time was totally different. I mean, we wrote a lot of songs together this time with the other people, like especially with Dirk, with our drummer, and Niels, our bass player. Because they have been very new to the band when we just recorded the To The End record.
Right.
And didn't have the real feeling for that. It was different after that, because we did the Rhapsody European tour together and did a lot of festivals and rehearsed and became really good friends and grew together as a band, really. So it was really, really good I think for everybody to see that they have like this real feeling for how the band should sound like now, you know. This was the first thing. The other thing that was completely different really this time was we're a band that always tries to be very close to their fans.
Right.
So when we're on tour or on festivals or stuff like that, we always try to get to the merch stand and talk to people and give autographs and stuff like that, pictures, and And there are two things that people always point out when you talk to them. The one thing is that they think we are a lot more heavy than most of the other power metal bands. So bringing all these heavy riffs back into power metal. And the other thing is the strong, catchy sing-along choruses. And I thought, okay, if they all think these are the two really, really strong points, why not start with writing the choruses first and just focus on that, And so we really sat down and tried to get like 10 to 12 really, really strong choruses together, and then went from there and fill up the other thing with the heavy riffs. And whereas I had the James Hetfield approach before, because James Hetfield always starts with one riff and goes from there.
Right.
And so it was totally different this time, but I think that might be the reason why Ravenhead is the strongest record coming to the choruses for us so far.
And also an album which is very rich in details when you try to talk about the arrangements and the structure. Fantastic. Now, talking about the power metal in general, I mean, you guys started way back in 2004. So how does it feel right now when you look at your journey and see that you belong to a country which is a power metal nation? And then we have ORDEN OGAN, who is, they continuously have raised the flag when it comes to power metal. So being one of the flag bearers, to be honest, along with the sites, let's say Gamma Ray or even Blind Guardian, for that instance, how does it feel to be part of that entire group of creating amazing albums one after another?
These are questions, and I honestly, and I don't think the other guys really spend too many thoughts on that. This would be, I mean, for me as a musician, the only thing that is important for me is doing the thing that I love to do, is sit down, make music, and try to make it as good as possible. I think it would be some, I would even think it would be a thing for me myself to be like arrogant if I sit there and think, oh well, now I'm part of this legacy or whatever.
Right,
This is
right.
basically things I just think about that. Coming to our history. You said 2004. You can find in the internet 1996, for example. I mean, we count our history. We really count our history from 2008 when the Veil record was released. That was the time when other people started working for the band, like a label, record company, I mean, booking, management, stuff like that. The band name was around a lot more early, but we were like pupils from school hanging around at the rehearsal room. We just bought our guitars in 1996, and we just kept that name later on as like some sort of an homage to the good old days when we started with making music and stuff like that. Yes.
It sounds really great. Now, being part of AFM, and we know that a lot of power metal bands are signed to AFM, and you tour, Europe most of the time. So last year you were at Prog Power, and that was your first performance in US, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So when you look at Prog Power in Atlanta, was your first performance everything you thought it would be? Because when you look at the reaction you had from the fans, it was amazing.
I mean, when we went to the States, we had totally no idea what to expect there. Yeah, I mean, I knew what our sales were, and they were okay. We didn't sell incredible much in the States. We didn't sell bad. It was just okay, And so we were like, yeah, okay, let's go over there and let's see what happens. And it was just an overall totally incredible experience. I mean, we were there like one day before our show.
Right.
And immediately people came to us and recognized us and were like, blah, 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 and talking about lyrics and guitar riffs and stuff like that. And they were so intense conversations that I really never had before in Europe. Yeah, I mean, I never met people in Europe that were so into the music than these people were. And I mean, what you said after that, I were the second on the bill on Saturday, but nevertheless the venue was completely packed. The reactions were outstanding. I mean, when we were, I was at the merch stand like 45 minutes after the show, and asked the merchandiser if we sold something, and he was laughing his ass off and said, "Yeah, everything you brought, everything you brought is gone."
So we're like, yeah, well. And one of my good friends, Mattie Jensen, was lucky enough to grab a kiss from you, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I saw that picture as well.
Right. So that kind of made a lot of girls jealous when you try to read those comments. But it was really a great time. She had a great time over there. So you talk about the fans from US and Europe as well. So when we as a whole, when we look at power metal, we feel Europe is more like a power metal country compared to continent like US. So when you talk about US fans, do you think a power metal band somewhere in US would make the same impact as you guys have made in Europe?
My honest answer to that is, I would say I think we could make an even bigger impact in the US than we did in Europe. I was in the States with a band called Suidakra in 2009.
Yeah, German folk band.
Yeah, right. Folk death metal.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to see them live in India.
Yeah, the Bangalore Open Air.
Right.
Yeah. So they're good friends of us, and I was with them in the States as a spare guitar player, and also that tour also was really, really great. The thing is, a lot of business people in Europe say forget about America. It's too difficult because the structures are just not the same than in Europe. You know,
Right.
in Europe you have got a lot of these magazines like Metal Hammer, Rock Hard, the big magazines, stuff like that. You got a lot of these big of the big stores where you can just buy CDs and stuff like that, and it's all not there in America. So it's a lot more difficult to promote a band in America, and you have to tour a lot in America, and it's
Right.
just a really, really big country. So that is why it is difficult. But yeah, the thing is, I think, I mean, looking back at our experience from the Prog Power Open Air, I think if people there, and I'm pretty sure there were a lot of people there that didn't know Orden Ogan before. So if I see the reactions there, I'm pretty sure, and that was the same that I said to Arcadius of Suidakra back then, that I think there is a big market for European bands and power metal or folk metal like Suidakra, whatever. I actually don't think that Suidakra is so different from Orden Ogan, by the way, just concerning
Except the
the vocal.
vibes. Yeah,
Yeah,
right, right.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm clean. I'm singing clean, and he's growling or shouting, whatever. But I think from the guitar melodies and stuff like that, it's pretty similar. I mean, we could tour together, and so yeah, I had the impression all the time that it could work really, really well for a European band in the States. You just have to work on it and go there, tour there, and stuff like that. And this is always the biggest thing beforehand. You just has to work out all like from all the schedules and stuff like that. So
Right.
it's not that easy.
Absolutely, and I hope Ravenhead changed everything for you guys when it comes to touring US and actually people in US buying your album, because this definitely deserves to be in their discography.
Thank you.
And now talking about the tour, you're going up with Hammerfall, in celebration of the new album Revolution. So we have Evolution and Ravenhead on the same bill. So what new songs will fans be looking forward to?
Yeah, we will not. We talked a lot about that in the band, and a lot of journalists asked me about that and talked to me about that. But most people said, don't make the same mistake than a lot of other bands do, and yeah, don't play just the new songs, because you got a good discography, and a lot of people are looking forward to hear the old stuff as well.
Right.
And so yeah, we're going to play 3 new songs that will be Fever, Ravenhead, and Death Among the Blind.
Nice. So old songs and the new songs. That looks like a jam-packed set list for fans to witness.
Yeah, I mean, it would be stupid. I mean, the record is out on January 16th in Europe, and
Feb 2nd in US.
Yeah, and the tour starts at the same date, I think. So most of, if not all of the people that come there have heard Ravenhead before,
Right.
So it would be stupid to just play stuff from the new record.
Absolutely.
Though we would like to play a lot more of that.
That's true. Now, how about coming to India? Any plans? Probably in future we may get to see you guys, because we haven't seen any power metal band in India so far.
Yeah, totally. If there's some opportunity, I'd go there straight away. So if you know anyone who's doing a festival in India or whatever, then give him a hint. Say, hey, we haven't heard any power metal in India before. Maybe go for Orden Ogan.
Fantastic, Sebastian. I had a great chat with you. It's always an honor to have an in-depth chat with somebody all the way from Europe or US, because we're very far from you guys. So it's always a great journey for us to have a chat with you guys.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.